Gravity Falls Headhunters. The episode starts out at the Mystery Shack, with Dipper and Mabel watching a show called Duck-tective. Suze runs in and wants to show the twins what he found while he was cleaning, taking them to a secret door hidden behind the wallpaper. They open it and discover a forgotten wax museum. Mabel admires how lifelike the wax statues are, and Dipper states that one of them isn't as lifelike. It's actually Grunkle Stan, which scares Dipper, Mabel, and Suze, and they run screaming. Grunkle Stan then introduces the wax museum. He says it was one of their most popular mystery attractions, before he forgot all about it. He then notices that Wax Abraham Lincoln has been melted by the sun, and accuses Wax John Wilkes Booth of opening the blinds. Mabel suggests creating a new wax figure to replace it. Grunkle Stan likes Mabel's idea and he agrees to let her do it. Mabel begins to think of ideas for her wax figure. Her first idea is a girl that is part fairy princess and part horse fairy princess. Dipper suggests she carve something from real life and Mabel draws a waffle with big arms. Dipper then suggests she draws someone in her family. Mabel then gets the idea to sculpt Grunkle Stan when he comes into the room looking for his pants. Once she is done, Grunkle Stan loves it and declares that the wax museum is back in business. The next day, they have a grand reopening of the wax museum. There is a mini press conference where Mabel takes questions. A reporter questions where the pizza that was promised on the flyers is. Grunkle Stan claims it was a typo, then shuts down the press conference, throwing a smoke bomb and running off with the admission money. The customers leave infuriated due to there not being any pizza. Mabel thinks it went well. That night Grunkle Stan counts the money he made from the reopening. He tells Dipper and Mabel to go wash up because they have a long day tomorrow. Grunkle Stan sits down to watch Duck-tective with his wax stand figure while Dipper and Mabel are brushing their teeth. Grunkle Stan gets up to use the bathroom, but when he comes back, he finds the decapitated body of Wax Stan. Frightened, he calls over Sheriff Blubbs and Deputy Derland, but they deem the case as unsolvable. Dipper believes he can solve the case and takes on the job, even though the police officers just think that it is a waste of time.
City Boy thinks he's gonna solve a mystery with his fancy computer phone.
City Boy! City Boy!
You are adorable.
He does so anyway, and he and Mabel come up with a list of suspects. Dipper says it could be months before they find their first clue. Mabel then notices a clue. She sees footprints that lead them to an axe, which the belief is the murder weapon. Mabel realizes that the axe could belong to Manly Dan. They take the axe to Suze, who tells them that Manly Dan hangs out at a crazy intense biker joint downtown. Dipper and Mabel head to the biker joint called Skull Fracture and both use a fake ID to get inside. Mabel begins talking to one of the customers there while Dipper questions Manly Dan. Manly Dan has proof that proves he couldn't be the murderer and also points out that the axe is left-handed while he only uses his right hand. Dipper and Mabel go through their list of suspects to see who is left-handed. Once they go through several suspects, there is only one person left on the list: Toby, determined who runs the Gravity Falls Gossiper. Dipper and Mabel get Sheriff Blubbs and Deputy Derland to raid Toby's office, but he also has proof that proves he is not the murderer. Dipper believes that Toby has to be guilty. Toby reveals he was in his office making out with a cardboard version of Chandra Jimenez. Dipper tells Sheriff Blubbs to check the prints on the axe. He says there are none, leaving Dipper and Mabel confused and very embarrassed. We then see Stan having a funeral for his wax figure with Dipper, Mabel and Suze in attendance. Wax figures are behind them. Stan runs out crying while reciting a eulogy. Dipper then notices that Wax Stan's shoe has a hole in it. He pieces together the clues and realizes that it was the wax figures. The wax figures come to life and threaten to kill Dipper and Mabel. Mabel asks if they are magic and Sherlock Holmes says they're cursed to come to life when the moon is waxing. He reveals how 10 years ago they were an attraction in the Mystery Shack during the day, but then had the freedom to do whatever they wanted during the night until they stopped drawing a profit, leading to Stan locking them away and forgetting about them. After bringing them out of storage, they tried to kill him for revenge but beheaded his wax figure by mistake. The wax figures then begin attacking Dipper and Mabel. Improvising with a fire iron, Dipper sword duels with Sherlock Holmes and purposely lures him outside to be melted by the sun. Mabel gets rid of the rest of the wax figures by throwing them into the fireplace. Grunkle Stan walks in and thanks Dipper and Mabel for finding his wax head. Mabel says she is 99% sure she got rid of all the wax figures, but Wax Larry King's head is still in the vents. The end credits show Mabel trying to decide which sweater to wear, the purple sequins or the yellow llama hair. She asks Dipper which sweater she should pick and, unknown to her, the wax head of Larry King peeks at her through the heating vents and suggests the one with the llama hair because llamas are nature's greatest warriors. Mabel thinks she heard Dipper and thanks him and leaves to change while Dipper looks around in confusion. Let me know what you think of Gravity Falls in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Movie Mistakes for more great videos like this one. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time.